right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast of the dark future. This is the second episode of our podcast about the Cyberpunk 2020 Red tabletop game made by Talsorian Games. And I have with me my boy Luke the Goon, aka the Dark Future. What's up, playa?
What's going on, brother?
We have joined forces together, and with our powers combined, we will talk Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Two unholy forces joining one.
I know, we're so dark. Dude, you know what's funny? We were talking off air that, because he's like, I want to go by Luke, that's my name. But then I was like, what if someone sees you in person and goes like, hey, dude, are you the Dark Future? And like some white girl with her Starbucks in her hand will be like, what the fuck?
What? The Dark... That's kind of why I think I went by my name, because the Dark Future would be really strange for people to like meet me and call me, hey, what's up, Dark Future? It's like...
I know. It just doesn't. It's just like in public, people will be like, what are you, some kind of edgelord? Like,
I know. Yeah, I know.
So anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful week. We thought it's been like 3 weeks since our last episode, but it had only been one. So we're here, and there actually a lot has happened in between for both of us, like both of our Cyberpunk and our like YouTube channels. We were on podcasts, and you were a guest on the Cyberpunk 2077. Or is it just called the Cyberpunk Community?
Yeah, it's the Cyberpunk Community Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, it's with Last Known Meal, Mad Queen, Neon Arcade, and Triple S League, and looks like they needed somebody. Triple S League just had Subsidian, or fuck, man, I forgot how to say it.
I think it's just Subsidian.
It's not. He told me it's Cybsidian.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, he said it.
Okay.
Yeah, Cybsidian. He came on, and then he was like, oh, we need somebody for the podcast. And I was like, dude, grab my boy Luke, scoop him up.
Yeah. Yeah, I was scheduled to be on, but they put me on early because Mad Queen and the Last Known Meal, I think, were feeling under the weather. And so they decided to pull me in. I'll be on again when they're all on. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, I saw, I've been in contact with Last Known Meal. He's just been fucking crazy busy. He told me he's been doing so many things.
Yeah, he was at some kind of like acting seminar or something, and he talked with Tim Roth.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
I saw it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, good for him, man. It's good to stay busy like that, because he's supposed to come on my other podcast, but he's like, dude, I'm just so busy, man. And I'm like, all right, no worries. Whenever you settle down a little bit, we'll get it going. So that's what we're waiting for.
Podcast, right?
That's correct. Thank you for the plug.
I know you forgot to plug your own stuff, man.
I mean, I feel like I plug it every episode, but you're right. I should just be consistent and be plugging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess before we start, we should do plugs in the beginning because nobody sticks around to the end. The Point and Click podcast I do with my buddy, that's every Sunday live 9:30 a.m. PST, but it's also on iTunes and all that stuff. And it's video games news with my bud and Luke. I wanted to see if you can come on, not this Sunday, but the next one.
Point and Click?
Yeah,
that'll be good.
Okay. And then we'll work that out. And then I have the Wise and Sassy podcast with my wife, and we have this podcast. So there it is. We both also have YouTube channels, The Dark Future, and mine is JonJonTheWise. We both cover Cyberpunk 2020, Red, and Luke covers all kinds of news that has to do with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, anything Cyberpunk, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the Swiss Army knife of news.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So how did you like the podcast appearance?
It was good. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot more people than I thought at once. I think I looked at the chat, like at once it was like 250 people.
That's awesome.
Like, oh man, I wish everybody would have been there, but it was good. I mean, the only problem, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about because this past week has been pretty dry in terms of news until just recently.
Yeah, totally. I get it. Yeah, no, you're becoming like a pocket celebrity, dude. I'm telling you. Because you're just killing it with the journalism, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but, I'm trying.
Dude, you do a good job, man. Just for, like, the fact that, like, I praise you too much already. Now people are going to be like, I get it, marry him.
Yeah.
But I got to praise my boy, I only surround myself with people that are, like, killing the game, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that pod. I was on a podcast too, and you're confirmed guest on the podcast, right? The HSG.
Yeah. High Shelf Gaming. Yep.
Yeah, High Shelf Gaming. I was on there with David and Rich, and fuck, man, we hit it off like we were best buddies, long lost buddies. And we talked about Cyberpunk Red. You guys can go check that out. It's a High Shelf Gaming podcast. They talk, dude. That community is insanely cool, man. I listened to some of their older episodes. I don't know if you have. Have you?
No, I listened to your whole podcast, but I haven't heard any of the other ones.
Yeah, man. They have like a Gen Con survival guide. And
I saw that.
They're like Gen Con is their like Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna feel weird when I go on there and I'm like, eh.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different for them because they're all friends and they all meet up, so it's like a good hang with buddies, you know?
Yeah.
And they play all kinds of games, Robo Rally, and they try to set up like all kinds of games to play.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what I was telling you before is like if you have very diversified interests, Gen Con you could have a lot of fun, like go all the days and be fine, you know?
Yeah.
But for somebody like us who has a pretty focused interest, it's, one day affair really.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, by the time the next Gen Con comes around, there would be so many people that I would have to go say hi to. It's already the numbers like too high now, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So then I'm like, we're just getting started with all this shit, you know? So I can't imagine like how many people I'd have to go and say hi to if I go to a Gen Con.
Yeah, I wish I would have known of all these people before I went, you know?
I know, that's the crazy thing. I think you would have had a way different experience.
Yeah, probably. I think, the farther away I've gotten from Gen Con, the more I think I've grown to appreciate it a little bit more.
How so?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. You know what I mean? It was like I was telling you before. It's like while you're there, you're kind of miserable, but you look back on it and you're like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there,
I get what you mean.
Yeah, we talked about this I think last week, but
yeah, I know what you mean. It's miserable because you're actually like accidentally exercising.
So. Yeah, and you're sweating like crazy because it's hot there anyway.
Yeah, man. But it's cool. So yeah,
and then on top of that, I had the added stress of the interview too. So I think all that combined.
I get it. It's nerve-wracking, dude. But now that you've talked to him, I feel like you guys kind of have a rapport, right?
Yeah. It wouldn't be as crazy as it was last time.
And you know what? I think he has an appreciation, Mike does, for people that are, into his tabletop game. And it's kind of like a breath of fresh air when people don't want to talk about Keanu Reeves and 2077 and all that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But anyway, let's get straight into it. Shout out to High Shelf Gaming and to the Cyberpunk Community Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to them and check them out. They're on every week as well. So there's that. So we wanted to talk about Home of the Brave, the Cyberpunk 2020 source book. It is one of the coolest source books in Cyberpunk 2020 that I have not read.
Yeah, I only recently started reading it, and it really impressed me like right off the bat. Like it's kind of I think what people would call lore heavy, but I think it's lore, but it has to do with the setting of America. And so I think it's great for like GMs to read to just get ideas about what they're going to do, because it talks about religions and like even goes into like children and how they're raised and like how much money people make and what the medias do and all kinds of things. And like I was telling you, it's like it's really dark. At least so far, what I've read is really dark. So like if you have gentle sensibilities, you might want to be careful with it.
Well, I mean, if you have gentle sensibilities, dude, this is Cyberpunk.
I was gonna say, Cyberpunk might not be the game for you.
Yeah, it might not be it. Hello Kitty RPG, tabletop RPG might work.
Yeah.
But I like the idea, like you said, that it just gives you kind of like a story on what's going on in the United States. Like it tells you the story of exactly what's happening, because not everybody wants to play in Night City. They want to try out other areas too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just the story, it's also like it gives you a good like insight into the lifestyle that people have that live in America during 2020.
Yeah, so you can kind of like emulate it, and it gives you ideas on how you can homebrew your own world or make things work.
Yeah, and you can really kind of get into the minds of the people who lived then, so you could create, get an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely need to read that book, man. I just realized that there's a bunch of 2020 source books that I haven't read. The only ones I've read are the Core Manual, the 2 Chrome books, and the Black Hand book.
Haven't you've looked through Night City, right?
Oh yeah, and the Night City one, obviously, for sure. Yeah. I use it like every day. So
I guess something I wanted to add is that, like, if you're listening to this from like 2077 perspective, I guess, is that I would highly recommend picking up Home of the Brave over the Night City source book.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might be right, because I went straight to the Night City source book because R. Talsorian kind of like tells you to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of like, dude, just read this, like, then you'll get it. And it's true, you do get it. Like, if you want to know what it's like in one place, a metropolis, a city in Cyberpunk.
The thing I feel about the Night City is that it's the first, 50 pages, are good. They're really good. But then you get into very specific building by building, and it's like more than half the book. It's like 75% of the book is like building to building. This is what each building is. This is what each building does. The beginning I really like, but then at the end it's kind of like,
Yeah, no, you're. It's not one of those books that I don't think you're meant to read. You're meant to read like front to back. You're supposed to read like the beginning, and then the rest of it is like an atlas or like an encyclopedia for like source material.
Yeah, if you need to pick up like one part of the city, you can open up that little section and read it.
Yeah, and then like at the end it has like, Night City encounters. It tells you like what's going on in each building, so you don't have any questions when you're playing in the Night City setting,
Yeah. And the Home of the Brave gives a much more general outlook, which is what I like, I think.
Yeah, it's like everywhere: Middle America, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. What's going on? Some places are devastated. Some places are still trying to, they're tribal nomads in between, right? That's like the idea.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of different like nomad gangs with like their backstory and who's the leader and what kind of equipment they have, and so they get into some specifics, but
yeah, I love that whole dichotomy of like city life, and then everything in between is like post-apocalyptic Mad Max shit.
Yeah, there's actually a nomad gang that's kind of like a poser gang that are like Mad Max.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's kind of, like the leader looks like Mel Gibson, and the female leader looks like Tina Turner.
Yeah,
so it's pretty funny.
I just like the idea that there's a Mad Max world going on, but then when they get to one of these big cities that the corporations are running, the corporations are like, you take that Mad Max bullshit out of here. Like, that's not allowed here, So they kind of have to like conform to whatever the fuck city life is until they're back out in no man's land. I love that.
Yeah, they're a real funny gang because they try to act like they're heroes, and it's just really funny.
Yeah, it's cool. That's the other cool thing about Cyberpunk is it has so many layers. Like, corporations are bad, but if you live in a ruled zone and you have like a family, corporations aren't that bad. They're protecting you from the shit that's out there,
Yeah.
So it's like they do those things that literally save your life, but at the same time, you sell your soul to them.
Yeah, that's the catch, is that you're kind of oppressed in more ways than one.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're protected, so it's like a sacrifice,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, anything else on Home of the Brave? I recommend it.
There's one cool kind of considered, I don't know if you've heard of them, maybe the nomad gang called the Digital Librarians. Have you heard of them?
No. Do you think I can go Google around it?
And they I don't know, but they compile all the like knowledge that's been kind of lost through the ages, and then they put it into like this digital library. So they'll find like books, and then they put it into the library, and they protect all this knowledge. And they're from like all these different colleges. They're all these professors, and they drive around these big RVs that have like these servers in the back that hold all the information.
Oh wow! So they're like a mobile, like
information unit. Yeah,
like the Maesters of Game of Thrones.
Never seen the Game of Thrones, but yeah, I guess so.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You just dropped that bomb on me.
Yeah, well, I seen the first 3 seasons, and then I was like, good.
Yeah, well, you did good, because if you stuck around, you would have been disappointed. I mean, literally, the last season just kicked everybody in the nuts. But anyway, this isn't that kind of podcast.
Yeah, I think that's the last bit. I've only read like the first 50 or so pages into the book, so maybe we can revisit this again when we both get our hands on it and finish it up.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to revisit it for sure, because maybe we can break it down on the next episode a little more, like some Middle America places, like specific spots or something, because we're just scratching the surface with that source book.
Yeah, really.
And yeah, but from what you said, those digital librarians sound exactly like the Maesters. They're just mobile.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that idea. Do you want to talk about retrofuturism?
Yeah, this was something that came up not when I was on the Cyberpunk Community Podcast, but the week before, and they were talking about if retrofuturism is holding the genre back.
Yeah, do you know what they mean by that?
Well, I think the specific point that was brought up was that there was no Wi-Fi in 2077, and they thought that was Mad Queen thought that it was like immersion breaking, and then there was talk of like the kind of 80s throwback vibe holding the genre.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, the fact that wireless technology doesn't exist just doesn't make any sense, because that's the direction we went into, but then they decided to keep it, retro the way they kept it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the thing about it is, anytime people complain about stuff like that, I understand their gripes, but the game is designed to be customizable. Every tabletop RPG, even D&D, all of them, they're designed to be customizable. So you can take in and add in and homebrew and do whatever the hell you want to make it the game that you want it to be. That's what makes it far superior to any video game that's out there.
Yeah. What do you think about the 80s vibe? Do you like the 80s vibe in it?
I like it, but I understand like why it can lose its flavor, because it's only one note.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it, the hair, the music, the jacking into things, jacking out of things, the lingo. I don't pay attention. Like, we've talked about it off air, that we're not really into the lingo in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, the slang.
Yeah, we're not into, like, I respect its existence, and I think it's important that it exists, and you should have slang for your game, because that's just a part of culture. But it doesn't mean I have to adopt the slang that Mike and his writers came up with,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're fully supportive of that too, that if you don't want to use their slang, it's all good.
Yeah. I like the 80s vibe that it has. To me, it's what gives Cyberpunk its charm.
Yeah, 100%. I love it too. No, don't get me wrong. I love it too, but I'd understand if people would get tired of it.
Yeah, because it is pretty... I mean, where else are you going to take it, though? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of a... Because if you just go futuristic with it, is it really Cyberpunk anymore?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, on the outside and on the surface, Cyberpunk is a retro-futuristic 80s survival post-apocalyptic world, but under it, it's just kind of like noir, film noir kind of thing. That's like the undertone.
Yeah.
Like those old detective novels and radio shows from back in the day. That's the flavor of it,
Yeah.
So
there are ways to do it right, I think. Like, even if you look at Altered Carbon, I think we talked about this last time, that Altered Carbon, I think, does a pretty good job. It film noir that you're talking about.
Yep.
But it doesn't really have the 80s vibe to it. Saying...
No, you're cutting out. See, we were talking about how we would cut out, and now you're cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You were just cutting out a little bit. But you were saying that Altered Carbon does the Cyberpunk look without making it 80s, right?
Yeah. It's got that film noir, but it doesn't have necessarily the retro, 80s feel to it.
Yeah, and guess what? Cyberpunk 2020 and Red give you the tools to make an altered carbon kind of life.
Yeah.
And in fact, my own personal game has Wi-Fi. It has the same corporations, they're fictional corporations, and any comparison and similarity is just a coincidence because I don't want to get sued by Google and shit. But I have those corporations in my game because I feel like I can relate with it way more. And someone like Mad Queen, she's like hardcore into the lore, so I get it if she kind of wants some things to change because she's all about the lore.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. So yeah, anything else about retrofuturism?
No, I think we covered all of it that we wanted to cover.
Okay, let's talk about some music. Well, first of all, I just released 6 tracks for free on my SoundCloud, JonJonTheWise, that anybody can use for any creative pursuit that they have. They're cyberpunk-inspired music. And if you want it for your podcast, for your games, your actual play, whatever the hell you want, just make sure you credit me in the description. It doesn't have to be anything flashy, it just has to be there. And that's it. And you guys can use it. So there's that. But the other thing we wanted to talk about is what cyberpunk music is, right?
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, it's I think it can, like, if you even listen to like Chippin' In, the new song, that they did.
Yeah.
By who did that song?
Samurai?
Well, that's the actual band, but there's like
there's a real band. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's a real band. I don't remember who they were, but
I'm Googling talk.
Yeah, I mean, either way, like, personally, I always like to use like synthwave and sometimes a little bit of like maybe darker stuff, like John Carpenter, kind of like his synth.
Yep.
Like if his album Lost Themes and Lost Themes 2. That's mainly what I use. I don't use like there's that company that puts out the music. I can't remember what they're called. Sirenscape.
Yeah.
They have like sound things that you can use, and I don't never really use that stuff. I'll stick with like, Perturbator or Daniel Deluxe or Wave Shaper or like I said, John Carpenter.
Yeah, if I'm playing with my buddies, oh my god, the possibilities are endless. So much music, dude. You could go to like the Blade Runner soundtrack, you could Mass Effect video game soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's just so much out there. But the problem is when you want to make like YouTube videos and stuff like that, those are all copyrighted, so you have to use royalty-free music.
Yeah, which is, we've talked about before, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, and I don't even know if my songs are like that good, to be honest with you, but I was like, I just wanted them to be there so people have an option. And Sirenscape you're allowed to use their audio for any of your creative pursuits as well.
Huh, okay, I didn't know that. I wasn't sure if they had that or not.
Yeah, shout out to High Shelf Gaming, David from High Shelf Gaming. He said he found in their terms of service that it's under the Australian Creative Commons license, which means that you can use it for anything, just make sure you credit them.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to be doing for my games. But as far as music goes, you're like you said, synthwave, electronic music. It has to be synthesized in some way to feel cyberpunk. But then I don't think that you should be limited to that. Because there's also, I don't know if you listen to Vaporwave.
Yeah.
I fucking love Vaporwave. I don't know, what year were you born, by the way? If you don't, is that doxing? Am I doxing you?
That's doxing. Well, I'm about the same age as you are.
Okay, so then you know all about the 90s. You're a 90s kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I listen to Vaporwave, for some reason, it triggers like some 90s memories. Like I can feel my old apartment and like my PS2 controller in my hand.
Yeah.
And like my mom was still alive then, so it's like it really like connects to me in a weird way.
Yeah, there's a band called they're not really, they're synth, but they're more like Outrun.
Mm-hmm.
They're called The Midnight. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
I have not, but you've introduced me to some amazing fucking music. So
there's actually lyrics, so it's not like regular synthwave where there's usually not any vocals in most synthwave.
Yep.
But they do, and their album Kids is like so nostalgic. Like I'm seeing them in concert next month. So
The Midnight. Okay. I'm definitely gonna save this. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, they're from LA. Are they from LA?
I don't know if they're from LA. I know their band is like there's something like the Midnight LA, but I don't know. They might be. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it just says the Midnight LA and Midnight Official. Who knows? But anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, just from their main website, I can tell you that I'm already in. They have a cassette player and shit.
Yeah,
it's cool, man. Yeah, it's so cool, man. I love music. You know. Oh, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm working on something amazing with music. I'm working on something that no one has ever done before. Even in D&D, I don't think anybody's done stuff like this.
All right, we got a little tease then.
Well, I'm working. Big shout out to Cybsidian from Triple S League. He connected me with a guy who is a rapper. I don't know if you saw that.
Game Notes.
Yeah, Game Notes. That's his name.
Yeah.
Shout out to Game Notes. Me and Game Notes.
If you haven't seen the Rage 2 rap review, it's really good.
It's really good, and he said that he's not even like, he doesn't even think it's that great. Like he thinks it's great, but he's like, this is just like the tip of like the iceberg on what I want to do.
Yeah, it's criminally underseen because it's really, really good.
Yeah, the guy has skills for sure. I was ready to cringe, to be honest with you, because when someone says they can rap, I don't know how to rap, but I know if someone is not a good rapper.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
there's a lot of people on YouTube who try to rap. Like Jake Paul, and like making a rap video now is like the new thing.
And if you told me like, hey, I'm gonna rap a game review, I'd be like, oh god, dude, no. But then his is fucking insane. And I even showed my wife, who is like totally non-biased, and she's like, oh, that's actually really cool. So
yeah, it's really. I guess he's gonna get his own channel.
Yeah, he's trying to create his own channel. It's hard, you know, to do that. But I think Triple S League said they wanted to help him out, and I told him that, like, you know, Triple S League aside and all that aside, we should just work together anyway, because I think you're talented, and I want to work with you. So we're working together. We have something coming up. He's cooking. So there's that. That's it for music, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about some new GM tips for Red in 2020. I could talk about this shit for hours, dude. For hours. Like, when it comes to GMing, especially nowadays with like all the hype going on and new people coming to the game, it's fucking scary to want to run your game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, new rules are always intimidating.
Yeah, and there's so many tips I can give you guys that I'll probably forget, but the most important one is preparation, for sure. There's nothing like preparing. If you think that you could just make a couple notes and be able to just randomly improvise the entire session, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a bad time, and then the players you're gonna see a bunch of bored players because they don't know what's going on, and you wanna make a product, dude. You wanna make a session. The session has to be made.
I think the best piece of advice I ever got is steal everything.
Yeah.
Because you can take, like, you know, and it doesn't even have to be cyberpunk material. It can be like, if you're going to do a heist, watch like Ocean's 11 or, you know, Italian Connection. You know, if you're going to do, you know, you can take something from any genre and just put your own twist on it and put it in cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's so easy to do, man. Any movie you watch, anything that you see going on in the streets, like stuff you see in the news, those are all things that you can use and reform into whatever the hell you want it to be. I love that. That's like one of the most fun things to do. Oh, I would recommend that you have like a notes app, like on your phone. Everybody has a notes app. Just as soon as you see something that's a cool idea, just write it down. You're going to forget it.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, 100% you're going to forget it.
I've had a lot of good ideas that I've forgotten over the years. So.
Oh my God, so many, especially at night, like I'm in bed. And I'm like, whatever, tomorrow I'll remember. I wake up and it's gone, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I know. But I also always tell people when they're first starting out to set expectations with your players. Make sure that they know like what your game is about, what your rules are, what your homebrew rules are, all the things that people usually ask, that usually it surprises them in the middle of the session. You don't want any surprises. You want everyone to know that like, hey, this is a game where you can die. This is a game where it's going to be hard,
Yeah, especially if you're with players that are used to like D&D or something like that.
100%. It's like, it's okay to be attached to your characters, but there's stakes now. All right. So yeah, there's that. New GM tips. Any other GM tip let's see, specifically for Red and 2020, I would recommend, if you're brand new, you're going to need the core rulebook of 2020, and you're going to need the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit if you want to play Red.
I'd even say if you're going to play 2020, you want the Jumpstart Kit.
Yeah, 100%, because the net running is so good.
Yeah. I mean, because if you don't have that, net running is going to be next to impossible for you to run, especially if you're new.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I just prepared a net running encounter for my first game back after a year, and I had so much fun coming up with like the different shit that they can do.
Yeah.
You know what though, man? It's like combat is so fast paced. I don't even know if it's worth having complicated hacking sessions. So I gotta see. Like on paper, it looks like it's too much.
I think it'll be a lot smoother than you think.
I hope so, because I have 7, like, spoiler alert, I hope my players are not listening to this. They usually aren't, so I'm okay. Fucking assholes. But I've created 7 floors for the encounter, and it's supposed to happen at the same time as combat. But I feel like combat is so fast paced that I don't think that they're even going to deal with that shit. You know what I mean?
You're talking about 7 like levels in net running, right?
Yeah, 7, like whatever control node is there at the combat encounter, each control node will have 7 floors.
Yeah, so 7 net levels.
Exactly.
Yeah, because in Red there's net moves and meat moves. So.
Yeah. And so I think that the way they wanted to design it is the deeper you go, the more crazy shit you'll find. Because it's hidden over so many there's so many obstacles in your way to get to the 7th floor that the 7th floor better have something worth going to,
Yeah.
But you don't know what's on the next floor if you don't have a good interface level.
I guess the other thing I'd say for GMs is like, just do it. Like, don't be afraid to jump into a game. And like, everybody's first game isn't that great anyway. Like, I'm sure John's first game wasn't great. I know mine wasn't.
No, it wasn't that great.
Yeah, the more you do it, the more you learn, the better you'll get. So
yeah, definitely.
You just tell you're probably going to play with your friends. If you're not, just tell them, hey, look, it's my first game. Take it easy, and just go for it.
Yeah, what I did...
It's like anything else in life. When you first start out, you're not going to be that great. But
100%.
Once you start going, you'll get the hang of it.
And especially if you're the GM, you make the rules, so you can really just do whatever you need to on the fly to keep things going. If
that was going to be my other tip, is don't be afraid to like make a rule change on the fly or like adjust a rule to your liking. These rules aren't set in stone. It's your game. Feel free to tweak them however you think. If you think something's too clunky, change it.
Dude, I don't care what the book says. If we're in the middle of combat and we have to look something up, I hate it. I fucking hate it. And I'll even say, I'll make an executive decision, and then later my players will be like, dude, the book said this, we totally fucked up. And I'll be like, no, we didn't fuck up. We kept things going for the sake of the game. Now we know. Next time when we get to that situation, we know what to do.
Yeah, well, the Red Jumpstart Kit also comes with like a cheat sheet, so that's your friend too.
Yeah, it's like a DM screen pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's that. Fuck, I had another thing. I lost it that I was gonna say. about GMing. Oh, I was gonna say, so the first thing I did was before I created like my epic campaign for my players, I was like, all right, I need to test this system out. Like, I need to be a GM for one game to see like what it feels like before I can create an epic campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made like a prologue encounter. I made like a prologue session where like there's a little bit of role play, and then there's combat, and then you resolve the role play and the session's over. So I just wanted to make something simple, and I made like a quick little mission for my players. They went and they played it, and it's actually on my YouTube. It's the prologue mission that has nothing to do with the story. I just kind of just put something together just to see what it would feel like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me a really good barometer for what I should be doing as a GM, and then I was able to create my campaign. So I would recommend new GMs to, well, actually the Red Jumpstart Kit has a module. It has the apartment in the world book, and that is a module that came with the world book. So if you want to try something out, just do that.
Yeah, there are two, I think, because there's one about Biotechnica.
Oh,
and then there's that one about the apartment.
Oh, I didn't know there was two. I thought there was only the apartment.
Yeah, there's the apartment, and there's one about Biotechnica. There's like drugs that they're trying to take off the market so that they can mess with it or something.
Awesome. That's the other thing we talked about on the High Shelf Gaming podcast is how 2020 didn't have that many modules. Mm-hmm. And most of it came from Atlas Games, right? A third party.
Yeah.
But they didn't have their own modules, and then the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit comes out and it has 2 modules in it.
Yeah.
So that's really good news for the company and for fans of the series.
Yeah, I'm hoping they keep doing that,
Yeah, I hope so too. My phone just went off and I don't even know where it is. Oh, it's over there. Okay. All right, let's see here. What does that say? Where we get inspiration from Fight Drone?
That's it was the thing about like where we derive our inspiration from. It's kind of what we were saying already about taking things from, movies and things that we watch. And I was watching, I started picking up Altered Carbon again. And okay. There's a part where they go down into this area called the Fight Drome. And it was like they had genetically modified like humans in these tanks, and they were basically exotics from Cyberpunk 2020. And they were all bioengineered, and it just kind of like made me think of like, where we could have like a fight in like a underground fighting, club or whatever, where they have bioengineered people fighting one another and all kinds of things like that. So it's just kind of an idea of, where we pick up a lot of our inspiration from and what we have picked up from them.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. You can find inspiration in anything, man. Are you planning on running a game or something?
It's in the works. I think I'm gonna run with I did a video about Biotechnica.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna run with one of those ideas.
Ooh, do you have a group or you want to create the game first?
I'm probably going to create the game first.
Dude, and you're meticulous, so I know you're going to have your game, like...
Yeah.
So, how far, like, percentage-wise do you think you are on making it?
Maybe 40%, 50%, maybe.
That's a hefty amount, dude. Halfway?
Yeah. Well, I've had it tinkering. I've been tinkering with it ever since we got our hands on the Jumpstart Kit, so...
Ooh, yeah, me too. I mean, I'm like 90%. With my epic campaign, like maybe 95. So I mean, if like gun to my head, if we had to start our first session tomorrow, I'd be ready.
Yeah, you can do it.
I could do it, but I just want to tweak some things and add a little extra flavor because I'm making it a little more. I'm taking into account the whole entertainment factor of it way more now, and I kind of want to make like a product that you can actually sit and watch. You know what I mean? And not just watch, but listen. Like, I want to cover all bases. Like, I think I'm going to have the guys doing webcams and Roll20 and Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, I'm going to have all 3 of them going for different elements. And I'll be having background sound effects and music. So I'm kind of getting ambitious with this thing.
Yeah, you're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, because there's an interest for our actual plays. People have been asking me, like, hey, is this ever going to come back? Like, it's been a year, my kid was born, and it fucking threw a monkey wrench in the whole Game Master system. But, now we're all settled down. He's older, and my wife's like, dude, you got to get back on it. Because people have been hitting me up saying, like, dude, I hope this game comes back. I enjoy it. And I'm like, all right, I want it to come back, and I need to make it better. That's what I want to do. So it's coming up soon. Probably within the next couple weeks, we'll be playing again.
Yeah, you're doing that on Thursdays, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on Thursdays, this slot that we're spending right now talking. So we're going to have to find another slot. But then I don't think I'm going to be doing it every week. I think I'll be doing it once a month. And then me and you can be doing the podcast at this slot on the other weeks,
Yeah.
So that's my idea, at least. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm doing too many things.
Yeah, it's good, man.
It is good because the reason I'm doing too many things is because I like it. I want to do it. Not because it's a chore, but because I have so many ideas in my head. And I was talking to Luke off air, but my buddy totally gave me a whole new idea for a new series. And until I have it down, I'm not really going to talk about it, but a whole new different video series that I'm going to do for my YouTube channel. So there it is. We want to talk some non-cyberpunk stuff?
You going to skip right over Matrix 4?
Oh shit, I didn't even realize. I thought that was part of the Altered Carbon thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's been announced that Matrix 4 is being made, and Keanu Reeves is coming back, Carrie-Anne Moss is coming back, and Lana Wachowski is going to write, and I believe she's directing. So, What do you feel about that, John?
I mean, first of all, they killed they totally spoiled the fact that Trinity's alive.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait a minute, she's back. Like, you couldn't hide that. You guys should have hid that fucking fact,
Yeah.
But I guess the cat's out of the bag. She's alive. So now I'm wondering, did Neo die? Did he not die? How is he coming back? Is he coming back in a dream sequence? Are they?
Yeah, it sounds weird because I know Lawrence Fishburne, I guess, isn't coming back.
Yeah.
So they said something about Morpheus maybe being younger. So I don't know how that works because they can't do a prequel because Keanu Reeves still looks young, but I don't know where they're gonna go with it. It sounds really weird.
It does sound weird. Are you are you well versed in the Matrix lore?
No, dude. I haven't seen the sequels. I saw them once and I was like, these are trash. And maybe it was just because I liked the first one. I thought the first one was really good, and then the second ones are or the 2 sequels are eh.
They're garbage, dude. I'm with you. But you know what? I still enjoyed the movies, but you're right, compared to the first one, it's what's going on here?
Yeah.
But have you seen something called the Animatrix?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay, so that's supposed to fill in the gaps of lore for the movies, and then once you watch that, everything else it ups the quality of the sequels. Just because you know more now. So when you see things, you're like, oh shit, that's that from this. And it's so good, dude. So good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. So I'm interested because according to the lore, Keanu Reeves' character Neo is dead, Trinity is dead, and he died like Jesus for everybody's sins, and now the Sentinels and humanity kind of are at a truce. Of okay, they've told the Sentinels, they made the Sentinels realize that their idea that they're superior might be true, but killing humans is actually not efficient. That's the whole idea of the Matrix. They thought that, we're here now, so it's time for you guys to go away or just be batteries for us so we can sustain our life because you're inefficient life forms. But what happens with the 3 movies, convinces them that their relationship with humanity should be different if they want to survive. Did you get that from the movies?
When I watched them when I was a lot younger, and I was just like, these are badass. So
yeah. Oh shit, he's
like
dodging bullets, dude. That bullet dodging. Come on, man.
I know, dude. That's so crazy.
I know.
I watched like this. Like I said, I saw the second and the third one in the theater once, and I never saw them again.
Okay.
And then I've seen The Matrix a bunch of times. So.
Okay. So there it is, Matrix 4. I'm excited to. We'll see. We don't know anything about it, so there's no reason to hate it or be excited yet. We just know that it's coming back.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's the exact term that I would use. So thank you. Let's see. Anything else? Non-cyberpunk. The bane of YouTube reaction channels. What do you have against reaction channels?
Yes. Dude. Sorry if you have a reaction channel, but you have no talent. You have no talent.
Damn.
Because all they do is look at other people's content. And I'm sure not all of them are like this, but there are a lot of them where they just sit there and watch it and they nod their head and they're like, yeah, this is good. This is cool. And then they stop and they kind of look at the camera and they give a little bit of opinion. And it's like...
And they have millions of views, dude. Millions.
They do, dude. And I don't get it. I don't know why.
I mean, look, if millions of people like it, then there's something going on, you know?
I think what it is it's like people like to watch something with someone else, I guess. And so they're basically watching the other person's content with someone else through somebody else's channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's because I don't know if you've ever hung out with it. You know what it is, man? It's just most people are not interesting, unfortunately. So when they see someone that's semi-interesting and has like funny things that they say or hot takes when they're looking at videos, it kind of brings them kind of like an enjoyment. Have you ever watched Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's the whole like, oh, these guys make me laugh. It has to be funny. Reaction.
Yeah, see, that's the key.
Yeah.
Is that not all reaction channels are bad.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there's that. But then there's also people who just sit there and listen to somebody else's music video and are like, oh, this is good. But it's like you were saying, Mystery Science Theater 3000 are really good because they're funny. They're actually funny.
Yeah, I guess what I should say is comedic reaction channels are great, but everything else, what are you doing? Like all the other reaction channels, what are you doing if it's not funny?
Like if you've seen Joe Rogan reacts to like fight videos, those are good.
Oh, they're so good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has like actual insight into what he's watching, you know?
Yeah. The Fight Companions, that's pretty much what that whole thing is. It's amazing.
Yeah. So not all of them are the bane of YouTube, but a lot of them are.
Yeah. 100%. I'm with you on that. So we agree. Fuck you, reaction channels. This is straight from the R. Talsorian Discord, dude. If you guys don't know about it, you guys should definitely join the official R. Talsorian Discord. It's easy to find. It's out there. You just have to Google it or something.
Yeah, if you go to the 2077 Reddit, it's right on there.
There you go. And we talk about Cyberpunk, Witcher, Falkenstein. That's like a steampunk RPG, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and Mechton, which is like a robot RPG, and
yeah, Mechton, or it's like a mech game.
Yeah, so it's all the R. Talsorian stuff, and we got some cool people there, and they want to know about our favorite pudding flavor.
Yep, they demanded it.
I mean, listen, I didn't even know that there was any pudding other than chocolate. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was like.
Oh my god!
Like selections of other ones, and you know what? Yeah, I don't even want it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
There's like tapioca and like a whole bunch of different ones.
Miss me with that shit, dude. Chocolate or just GTFO, dude.
So yours is chocolate.
Yeah, 100%.
Mine is butterscotch.
Okay, see, you lost me, dude. I don't know what are you, an old lady?
You don't like butterscotch, dude?
No, because I'm not over the age of 70, so.
I'm telling you, dude. You gotta get on that butterscotch. I'm telling you, it's good.
No, okay. To be honest, to be fair, I've had like butterscotch coffee or butterscotch something. I think candies before, and they're cool, but as a pudding, dude.
Yeah. You're just a hater, dude. You're just a hater.
I'm 100% a hater. I'm telling you right now. If it's not chocolate, I'm a hater. I'm hating.
You didn't even know about it until just now.
Yeah, because I didn't. It's like, why? You know, it's like telling me, like, dude, there's square tires out there for your car. It's like, I'm sure there are, dude, but I'm gonna stick to these round ones.
So you're sticking to your chocolate pudding?
Yeah, 100% chocolate pudding for sure, 1,000%. So if you guys disagree with us, make sure you leave it in the comments. We want to know your favorite pudding flavors.
I was about to say, leave your favorite pudding flavor
in the comments, and any new GM tips, you guys put that in the comments. Anything that we talk about here, if there's anything that you guys want to add, you know, the comments are there for that. It's not just, you know, shit talking.
Yeah, and if you disagree with us, feel free to tell us.
Yeah, and then we will not get angry.
Yeah, we're probably wrong about 25% of the time. Yeah, well,
this is just stream of consciousness talking. That's all we're doing.
Yep.
So your expectations should be very low. Okay, we got a couple questions here about Cyberpunk from the Artelsorian Discord. Oddball says he has a question for anybody with the Home of the Brave book. I thought this was a good idea because it covers two different things that we're talking about on the podcast, the Home of the Brave and new GM tips. So he says on page 77, it mentions that if you leave the military, you get 1d10 percentage of the money you've earned while in service, on top of 1d10 times your monthly salary as a discharge bonus. So just stopping right there, your monthly salary is supposed to be in the core rulebook according to whatever your role's special ability number is. Like, for example, the Rocker Boys special ability, what is it called? Do you remember?
Who is it?
The Rocker Boys. Is it charismatic leadership?
I think so.
It sounds like that's what it is. It's the one where he gets people to join his cause. So if that is a certain number rank, then you make this much a month. Like, that's what the chart says. So that's your monthly salary. So he's saying, my question is, 1d10 percentage of what? Do I calculate yearly pay for each month's salary, or for each year of the life path, raising it with promotions until the end? Or do I 1d10 percentage of my monthly salary? Because the numbers are scary and might lead to a full body Borg at campaign start, which I'm really unsure about. So this is a classic example of taking things in the book way too literally. You know, the things in the book is designed to guide you and give you, to answer your questions. That's all it is. Like, if you can't decide how you want to divvy the money out to your players, the book has a solution for you. But it might not always be the right solution, you know?
You did a kind of a video about that, didn't you? Where you talked about how taking the little roll numbers can get out of hand.
Yeah, I did that for my Rocker Boy breakdown, the roll breakdown, because they have this like finite number that if you're a level 1 Rocker Boy, you can influence up to 200 people. So, and then I was like, I don't know, man, that doesn't sound right. If you're a level 1 Rocker Boy, that means you suck. Why would 200 people want to listen to you? And then if you're level 10, it's like 10,000. And it's like, dude, 10,000? That's nothing. For David Bowie and Mick Jagger, those are level 10 Rocker Boys. Those guys millions of people know who they are, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So when it comes to like numbers and stuff like that, this is all GM discretion. Anytime somebody has a question about exactly how much money you make while you're in the service, like, for me personally, I gotta sit down and think, like, what's fair? Compare it to real life shit. Like, I know people that were in the military. When they got out of the military, they couldn't afford, they didn't have billions of dollars, you know?
Yeah.
They're just like, they were back to civilian life, and they got some extra money for the GI Bill and whatever their salary was. It's like a little nest egg so they can figure shit out. That's pretty much all it was. It wasn't like this amazing, you know, payout at the end.
Yeah, even when you do those numbers, even like if you roll those numbers and you figure out what they are, you could do those in payments, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like every month they get, quarter of whatever that number was, or whatever you decide to do with that.
And remember, guys, this is the dark future, and in the dark future, you don't know if you're going to get paid on time. Like, this is assuming that the government actually pays you on time. Like, look at our present, the VA. If you have any kind of debilitating injury from your combat, after combat, some people have complained that it took them 6 months to get their first VA check, Veteran Affairs. So just think about it that way. Even if you are supposed to get a bunch of money, maybe the government's going to be like, we'll pay you in payments, like Luke said.
Yeah. And you can even turn that into like an adventure hook too. Like they're not getting paid, so they got to track down,
yeah,
whoever it is that's withholding their money.
Yeah, maybe there's corruption involved. Maybe, maybe some of your paperwork got lost and now you got to find it for them because they're just too swamped. And all kinds of other stuff. So when it comes to those numbers and stuff, oddball, I would tell you do not pay too much attention to them unless you're a rules lawyer and you just cannot help it, which I understand. I'm not a rules lawyer, but I get it. All right, so ELH from the Artelsorian Discord also says, I have one for you, John. Is it acceptable to send your Chumbas on a dangerous mission with the only reward being real, non-killable kibble pudding? What do you think about that, Luke?
I think there's some obsession with pudding in the Artelsorian Discord.
Dude, there's something about pudding that everybody just loves.
I don't know what it is either.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I've put guys out on an adventure and then they come back and they don't get anything. So, I mean,
yeah,
kibble pudding is better than nothing.
100%, dude. Are you kidding me? They should be grateful that they didn't die.
I know. Yeah.
I answered in the Discord saying it's always acceptable to send your Chumbas into a dangerous mission, like regardless of the reward.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't get a reward, they get kind of the experience,
Yeah, what was that quote that they said, that EA said? A sense of accomplishment? No, a sense of the thing that went around that they were saying on the internet about loot boxes.
Oh, surprise mechanics.
Yeah, no, the other one. It was a sense of accomplishment. That's what it was. Yeah. But they did say that too, the surprise mechanics too.
Yeah, that's what it is. You come back, you get your reward. It's kibble pudding. That's surprise mechanics.
It's hilarious, dude.
People love surprise mechanics.
Yeah, me too. I love it too. So that's great.
They're like Kinder eggs. That's what you tell them.
Yeah.
You tell them the kibble pudding is like a Kinder egg.
All right, man. Oh, well, is there anything else?
I think we covered it all this week. We are trying to get the podcast on Spotify, so we're not sure how long that'll be, but we'll eventually get it up there.
Yeah, we're working on getting it onto iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all that stuff. For right now, it only lives on YouTube, but we'll get to it soon. So you guys just stick around. My actual play sessions will be beginning soon. That's my next thing. I have a role breakdown video that I'm working on for the executive corporate, whatever you want to call it. And for now, other than the music thing, those are the only 3 things I'm kind of focusing on. So what else? What are you focusing on right now? What's something that's coming up?
Well, I'm pretty much going, doing the news by the day, whatever comes in. I do have a couple of videos planned for 2020 in Red specifically. One is kind of on the book that we talked about earlier, Home of the Brave. I'm going to kind of talk about growing up in the cyberpunk world. And then the other one I'm going to do is going to be for, like we were talking earlier, for like new people who want to know what books they should buy, which books they should get, which books actually have stuff that's useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are on a budget and they don't want to get a book where they're like, oh, I didn't get anything useful out of this. So
yep,
I want to do a video about that too.
That's perfect. That's good. I mean, I can tell you right now, basically just get the core rule book, but if you want like source books, then definitely look out for Luke's video because Luke will be able to tell you all the good shit.
Yeah. I'll make sure you don't get any books you'll regret later.
There it is. All right. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you guys follow us on the social media on at JonJonTheWise and at The Dark Future 2.
Yep.
On Twitter, and we're both on YouTube. So make sure you join and subscribe and do all the stuff that you need to so you can get our content. All right. Well, we love you guys. See you guys in the future, the dark future. Ooh, that's a good sign off. See you guys in the dark future.
Yeah.
All right. What's your sign off?
You just stole mine. My name's the Dark Future.
I know. Okay, let's do it again. But you say, see you in the dark future. All right.
All right, we got it.
All right, love you guys. See you later.
All right, I'll see you in the dark future.
All right, bye.